You know what's not doing well performance-wise? Did you hop on that Monster Hunter Wilds beta over the weekend?
No.
Holy shit, that game runs like garbage. Holy.
Okay, all I saw was Max tweeting about how the game has no hit stop, and that makes it feel less fun and less good when you hit things.
So there are two discussions to be had here. There's the discussion that a lot of people are going to skip because they're insane people like Max or myself who are running high-end computers with 4090s in them. And so it doesn't matter what the game runs like, right? However, everyone else playing the beta, if you were playing it on console, it runs exactly like you would expect a Monster Hunter game to run, which is kind of bad, but fine. Right? So 40 to 60, maybe? You know, kind of thing. If you were playing it on the personal computer, well, the system requirements are completely ridiculous. It asks that you use something called frame generation to bump up the frame rate, which is ridiculous because that adds a lot of input lag. People were running into catastrophic bugs. So there were lots of crashes, but the second one, and here's my favorite one, the second one is the game was not attributing RAM correctly to your video card. So it was loading in every single model as the furthest away LOD version of the model. So we're talking characters or monsters that are like garbage. 5 triangles.
Oh no. Is this running on Reach for the Moon?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I will probably try and find a fucking photo or some video to show you so you really get a good feel of what I'm talking about here. Run incredibly poorly. Just
now is running poorly not part of the Monster Hunter legacy?
So yes and no. Okay. Yes and no. Okay. So depending, World ran like shit. Rise and Sunbreak ran incredible. It looks like Wilds is gonna run like shit. Like bad enough that I may just grab it on the console because it runs like shit. Hopefully it was a beta. Okay. So hopefully it's a little bit better.
Okay.
But just crazy god awful.
I have to say that lack of hit stop, while it might seem minor, is the kind of thing that is partially responsible for why I don't like MMOs. So to me, impact and hit stop are huge and mean a lot. And when I see a video side by side of like swinging at a thing and the thing doesn't react or care at all that you've hit it, does that make me not feel like it just so like it's a very specific complaint, but I get it, man, especially if it used to have it.
When I think there was a fucking world beta or demo at some point that had the exact same hit stop problems.
Okay.
And every single person went, "You need to tone that shit back the fuck up. We need chunky hits."
Yeah.
And then they did that. Yeah. So I would assume they'll listen to people about that kind of thing again. I'm not too worried about it. I am now sending you a video of what Monster Hunter Wilds look like on some people's fucking computer.
Okay.
I would describe the technical state of this beta as disastrous.
Didn't I only play 2 sessions of World or something? I beat that looks yeah, that looks pretty bad. Oh no. Wow. Okay. Oh god, yeah. All right. Let me stick this one in the show notes. Yeesh. Okay.
Yeah, crazy. So
I beat the world story mode.
Main story
mode.
So aside from its disastrous technical state, which the devs have said it is an old version of the game. It's in a better state now, yada yada. But also, it's still very worrying for a release that's in a couple of months. Hopefully, they really work on optimization quite a bit. Aside from that, what's actually in the Monster Hunter Wilds beta is crazy. It's so good. It is so hot. It is shit hot. The trajectory towards character action game but monsters continues.
Okay.
So right off the bat, your Palico talks human English words.
Huh.
Second of all, your hunter talks human English words. Your hunter is a character.
The Palico's subtitles were always English, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but they would just make noises.
But now they speak,
Okay.
and your character speaks. Your hunter also is a character. They're not a completely blank slate anymore. They are a speaking, acting character. You have little dialogue trees when you talk to NPCs and ask them questions. They act in cutscenes. And a particular note to me, in the game's opening cutscene, your monster hunter hit a monster with a weapon, which is the first time ever. They always roll around and ignore it. They smacked a fucking monster with a greatsword, and I'm like, thank you. They also have did you play Rise at all, even once?
Yes, I did.
So they had the Palamutes there, where you would ride around on the little doggy, right?
Those are cool.
So now they have Secrets, which are not chocobos. They're blue. They're definitely not a chocobo.
I saw the birds. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a bird mount you hop on, and the bird mount is there. You hop on the bird mount, and it will just chase whatever fucking monster you're after automatically. And as you are on the bird mount, you can use your slinger to grab any material you see in your vicinity. It is essentially your auto-driving car.
Okay, so
you're not to fight on it. It is transit.
Right. Okay. Worlds introduced the flies, the tracking flies,
yes,
right?
Which was horrible.
Okay, and so this is kind of like another, streamlining that process, and just make it about the fight. Okay.
People asking, can you manually control it? Yes. The biggest deal, though, for the bird is that the bird is part of a larger structural change. You're not going to be going back to base camp and doing all of your shit in base camp and then, going on an expedition to the stage. Now the base camp is inside the stage. So your massive base camp that has the blacksmith, that has your camp, that has all your items and your item box and all that shit out in the stage itself. And when you are going to get quests, the way that you get monster quests is by hopping on your bird and running around and seeing a monster. And when you see a monster, it goes, here's a capture quest or an attack quest for this monster. Your handler, the girl with the glasses, Alma, she just follows you.
She looks cool.
Around. Yeah, she looks really cool, but she follows you. So when you are done fighting a monster and you want to start a new quest, she's literally standing right next to you.
Oh, wow.
So you can go, I would like to start a new quest.
In the world, okay.
Yeah, and so the basic thing is that you are just in the stage for extremely long periods of time. When you start a new quest and you'd be like, well, where do I get my supply items? The free items you would get at a quest. They're in Secret's bag. So they spawn in on the bird.
So I feel like World started that idea a bit with some of there's that later map where it was 3 different areas all connected in one, and you could kind of hunt something and then just run around and begin another hunt.
Yeah, that was called
organically. Expeditions, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is just like a very large expansion of that. But the biggest, most importantest part of the bird is that the bird keeps a second weapon in their pack. So if you hop on the bird and hit right on the D-pad, you will switch to your other weapon.
Oh wow, 2 styles. Okay.
So you are to always be assumed to have 2 on you,
Nice.
which is a big fucking change.
In
It's
the
a
in the
big
middle of the
fucking change.
fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't working. I'm going to switch to this.
Do you like if you've made any buffs or things that are particular? Do you lose those?
They would
or
stay.
They
Yeah.
stay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So when you talk about how it leans harder into the action aspect, basically I'm like, so does that mean that Insect Glaive is now more attack on tightening?
Yes,
Okay.
it does mean that.
Okay.
So there's a couple of new mechanics that are going on that I'm not going to remember the correct names for because they're never fucking mentioned in the thing. The only reason I remember the names of these things is because I saw like a single Reddit post on them. But everybody gets new mechanics. So I typically just play Greatsword, right? If you block enough if you block an enemy's strikes enough times, there are certain strikes with all of the blocking weapons that you will clash and engage with a struggle with the monster. So you will use your shield or your sword and be like, "Argh!" and knock it over
Okay.
for a flinch. You also have for the evasion ones like Insect Glaive and Dual Blades, you have perfect dodges. Like you have frame perfect dodges where you will glow blue like you're doing a fucking alpha super and your moveset will change when that happens. You also have something called an offset slash or strike where if you do certain moves and you time it correctly with the enemy's assault, you will blow through them and knock them on their ass.
Like
So you
charged
know enemies
greatsword.
that have that. So you know enemies that have that big like overhand strike.
Okay.
So Greatsword has a like diagonal up swing.
Yes.
If you clash those, you will win the clash, knock the enemy over in a big huge strike, and then your character will auto dash and run at them to do a new move.
Okay. So basically, the other I'm thinking of when you charge up a greatsword horizontal swing and you time it with a monster charging at you.
Yeah, now
Right.
there's a specific mechanic for blowing through them.
Right. Okay. And it has to be the right move against the right move. Okay.
On top of that, there's something called focus mode, which I didn't really understand. So you remember you could do breaks, like you could break a horn, you could break teeth, you could break the arms, right? So that's been changed to something called wounds. And so you will build up little slashes and areas of like of long-term damage all over the monster. And when you hit left trigger, you gain like a full aiming reticle that your attacks will always hit the center of that reticle. So if you want to always pop it in the face, you can force your attacks to aim it for the face. And once that area starts to glow red, you hit R1 to do a special wound break attack, which will damage that part further and always flinch.
Okay. So if you're trying to target tail, you can do so more accurately.
Yeah, you can bash on the tail and then you say, oh, the tail is red. And then you do a wound break on it and it'll do more damage to the structure as well as flinch it guaranteed.
Nice. Okay.
And this system all combines with a bunch of other ones. So like, for example, did you ever use the Insect Glaive for long?
Just the training.
Insect Glaive had like this problem in that you had this downtime where you're like, I throw my bug out, I have red, and now my attacks are better. I throw my bug out, now I have white energy, so now my legs are better. I throw my bug out, I got orange, and so now my stamina is better. When you have all three, you turn into a better version of the Insect Glaive, right? But there was always that downtime that rotated every minute where you're like, oh, I'm almost out of insect juice, better start pinging him, but then the enemy can move and it's a little annoying. The wound break move for Insect Glaive is you slash the enemy, jump back, and throw the bug so hard it gets all three Insect Glaive juices and brings it back to you immediately.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Um,
So it's style specific or weapon specific buffs or benefits
yeah, so the
for
great
those
sword one, like you'll
moments.
slash the wound and then you'll drag the sword the entire length of the monster.
Cool.
Um,
When you're
it
describing the shield clash moments there,
yeah.
or defensive clash, so like would that replace charge blade, for example, when you put it into shield mode and you lock down and do the super block, would that replace that perfect
No,
guard?
what's happening is when you are doing those blocks, you are building up an invisible meter, like the mount meter. So you know when
Oh,
like the
okay,
jumping
okay.
attacks would cause like an invisible mounting meter to build up,
Yes, okay.
like this, but it's a clash meter.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
So I could go on and on about all the different weapons and all the things they have, but just a quick couple. If you perfectly time a lance hit, they auto hit back with the shield, and then there's a counter. The greatsword can now use focus mode to turn any greatsword attack 180 degrees from where they started, just in the middle of the swing. The bow no longer uses ammunition and instead has you marking enemies to shoot homing missiles at them. Just all sorts of zany shit. Some of it's like directly from Dragon's Dogma.
Would these mechanic expansions go hand in hand with difficulty increasing?
Probably.
Okay.
Usually it does.
Okay.
Like the charge blade is now so complex that I loaded it up and I couldn't figure it out.
That
Because
thing
it
rules,
has
though, man.
it has charging the shield, it has charging the sword, and now it also has charging the axe separately.
The axe has its own bit. Nice,
and the only way to
nice.
charge the axe is to do a wound break attack. And the wound break attack is you fucking jam the charge blade into the monster's weak spot and the fucking buzzsaw goes off.
Mm-hmm. And does this all build to a charged, amplified, super god, super
Yes,
fucking
it does,
discharge?
Yes, it does.
That thing is so fucking sick.
So yeah,
Yeah,
the game
okay.
itself seems like it's, oh man, this is definitely, like, I prefer the heavier Monster Hunter games than the hyper ones.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer For You and Worlds to Generations and Rise. But I just hope it runs a little better because it's fucking bad. Though if you're playing on a high-end PC and you can play it and your friends are on console, this version does have crossplay. So you'll be able to play with whoever, whenever.
Betas have changed significantly to final in the past.
That's true, but Dragon's Dogma, which is an open world game that came out from on the same engine, did run like complete garbage. So,
Okay. How's the food porn?
you're cooking your own food now. And every ingredient that you add onto your own food changes the animation.
Oh.
So, like, you're cooking like a slab of food, like a slab of meat. And if you're like, I'm going to throw mushrooms on that shit. Well, then there's mushrooms in there.
Okay. No more muscular chef.
There might be, because the open beta didn't show the home base.
Mm.
It only showed the away base.
But it's also not playing meat.mp4.
No, it is not playing meat.mp4.
Okay.
But yeah, no, feels incredible, amazing. But I would very much like to see them come out and be like, look, the game runs better now. I like it. I'd appreciate it.
Did you do any mixing and matching of gender armor?
I didn't, but I went into the system and they had a bunch of armors available. And yeah, no, it works exactly as you would expect. And they're not gendered anymore. They're just like, do you want the one that's bulkier or the one that's slimmer?
Okay.
It's per piece. It works really great.
The fashion.
That game's gonna be great.
Monster fashion has never been thriving.
And easier.
More than now. Okay, cool.